Welcome to the first trophy list review. Today we're going to be looking at ihasmudkips account. Now I've known Mudkips for quite a few years, so I asked if I could review her account, and so let's just get into it. Uh, First off, we have Root Letter. Now this is a visual novel. No opinions, kind of split on it. I rather liked it. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable one. Pretty easy completion, but it's a great game for, I believe, if you can get it for cheap. I got it for like $5. Next we have 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I don't know too much about this game. I do know that it's on my radar as far as a game to pick up. I think it's a story driven game with some tactical um, gameplay, very JRPG like. As far as that, doesn't look like it's too hard of a platinum, again, but it's from what I've heard a great story and a fun little game. Next, we have Absolver. Now, this is that indie, almost fighting game. You have different fighting schools that you can choose, and you can customize your character with different moves and mask and whatnot. Now, it is a very grindy game to get the platinum, hence the really low rate of 0.69%. Um, the thing that takes so long is you have to learn every single move in the game, which takes a long time. As you can see, it's the rarest trophy. Um, so that might be one to go back to just to get a nice little ultra rare. If not, I completely understand. Next, we have Alien Isolation. That's a first person survival game supposedly mixed with horror. I played a little bit of it, about the same amount that she's played in this. I've heard it's great. I enjoyed the little bit I played of it. I just didn't. It didn't grab me as much, I guess, as other people. It grabbed them. Up next, we have Astro's Playroom. I mean, obviously, if you have a PS5, you've played this. I don't think I've met anyone with a PS5 that has not had this on their on their profile. It's a quick, easy game, but it's great. It shows off all the capabilities of the PS5 controller, such as haptic triggers and all that. It's pretty great. It's really short. I think you could pretty much get the 100% all in one go in about 4 hours, maybe even less, depending um, on how much you know and what to do and where to go. Next, we have Atelier Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. I've played one Atelier game before. It wasn't really quite my thing. I can see why people like them. It's a JRPG. The one I played was turn based. I'm assuming they're mostly all turn based. Um, and they're all on like or I should say most of them are on like a time limit system. So basically, like you do stuff in a certain day, and as time progresses, you have to accomplish certain tasks. And if not, I think you can get soft locked out. Anyway, that's a good completion. I know they're maybe not super hard, but the time pressure certainly adds to the challenge. Next, we have Bloodborne, an excellent game from Software. Nice little Souls-like game, or Soulsborne as they call them. I prefer the term Souls-like. Honestly, I think it's a better term overall. Not much to say here, except it's a tough game, a fun game. It's a very good completion, even though it is a little bit higher just because of the amount of dedicated people that have played it. We have Borderlands 2. We actually did all this together. We played all of Borderlands 2 together, so I was there for the Platinum journey. And as you can see, well, she's only at 90%. That's about the same place I'm at because they added the new DLC. So, can't remember when they added it. I think it was 2019. Yeah, 2019. So that's something that maybe we need to go back to and finish one day. We have Bug Snacks, nice little free PS Plus game that they offered in November or December of last year. I thought it was a fun little game. I don't think it's as good as everyone says. I didn't like certain aspects of it. Um, it it does borrow certain elements from I don't know. I think it's very much like Pokemon Snap, where you do certain things to get certain bug snacks to appear, and instead of taking photos, you capture them with your net. But uh, great completion on that one. We got Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Um, Not much to say about this one. This one had a great campaign. I believe that's where all the trophies are, except for the one, which is the Spec Ops trophy, which is the only little DLC, so it's not required for the platinum. I'm sure if you wanted to, you could knock that out very quickly. We got Code Vein, another Souls-like game. I'm assuming the trophies you're missing probably have to do with the multiplayer stuff. I heard that's a little bit of a grind. But other than that, it looks pretty much complete. Just a couple endings to do. Great customization in that game, by the way. We got Code Realize, Guardian of Rebirth, and Corpse Party Blood Drive. I have this game. I haven't played it yet, but both of these are sort of visual novel games. I don't know the premise of either one of them, but Corpse Party sounded more intriguing to me than Code Realize. But just another set of visual novels that are always usually fun to play. Well, not so much play, more read. But we got Crash Bandicoot. This is from the remade trilogy. Looks like not a lot of completion on it. Maybe didn't quite grab you. But this would definitely be a good one to go back to. A couple levels kind of frustrating, especially the ones with the bridges, like the High Road, Road to Nowhere. Those are a little bit infuriating, but if you can get past those and get the time trials, it's not too bad, I would say, of a platinum. It definitely will challenge you. The 100% even more so. That's way more difficult, I think, with some of those levels. Well, it's really only the one level, but we got Cyberpunk 2077. This one I have not played yet, so I know there was a lot of hype leading up to this, and then everyone knows how the story goes. Too much hype, and there was a lot of bugs, a lot of delays. It does look like there's a solid game buried down there. It might be best to wait for the patches to get the full experience. Maybe wait for the PS5 version, but I think, as far as I know, you probably enjoyed it to get the platinum. Maybe not super quickly, but I know it's a lengthier game, so maybe not as much as Witcher 3, but it's a beefier game, I think. Then we got Danganronpa games. Now, these are fantastic visual novel games. I have quite a lot of experience with them. Basically, it's like almost like a murder mystery. Each game. You're stuck with I can't remember how many students. It's either 12, maybe 18, something like that. I think it's 12. But the premise of the game is you're trapped in this place, doesn't matter where, and the rules are the killer has to kill someone, and everyone gets put on trial, and you can accuse someone of being the killer, and the killer has to get away with being the killer, and everyone else has to decide who the killer is. If the killer is gets away and they don't accuse them, then they get to escape, and then everyone else dies. And um, if you get the killer, then they're just booted out. Obviously, in the games, they're played against their will, so it's not like they willingly chose it. Um, so that's just the premise of the games. The first two pretty easy with Goodbye Despair and Trigger Happy Havoc. Not much to say about them. They do have a little bonus mode in the game to make it a little bit more demanding of the platinum compared to other visual novels. Now, Killing Harmony, the third one, as you can see by the percentage, definitely requires you to do a lot more compared to the others. There's like 3 or 4 different bonus modes. Uh, the development plan mode, the dungeon, and a lot of arcade modes, and then there's a Love Across the Universe mode. So there's a whole lot more to do, and that's why the percentage is so low compared to the others. So great job on that. And then Ultra Despair Girls is the third-person shooter. It's more of a spin-off. I'm kind of working through that right now, so I think it's okay. Not really the best, but good completion on that one. Then we got Death Stranding. I know this one is a really long platinum. I think people are saying it's around 100 hours. So I'm not really too familiar with it. So it might be one to go back for if you. It's not. Wow, that's actually really high for how long. For how long the game is, 16%. That's pretty incredible. So I guess a lot of people that played this game were really dedicated to it. Um, but good job on that. Completion is pretty high. I think you can push it out if you wanted to and get the full completion. Next we have Demon Souls. Now, I think out of all the Souls games, Demon Souls is my favorite. Um, I haven't played much of the PS5 remake. I need to go back and do it. But uh, as far as I know, it's basically 1-to-1 with the PS3 version. I mean, aside from the graphics and all that. So I know this one's a fantastic game. Looks like you did it pretty quickly too, 5 days. So I take that as a sign that you probably really enjoyed this game, as you should, because it's a great game. Anyone with a PS5 should get Demon Souls. Then we have Destiny. Looks like a couple trophies missing, but let's see what we're missing. Flawless Raider. Now that's the one that trips up most everyone when going for the platinum. Looks like you got a fair amount of everything else. So just depending on what your light level is in the game, it shouldn't be too hard to kind of go back and clean up all the trophies. Looks like you've done a little bit of Rise of Iron, so I'm assuming that your light level is a little bit higher because I know you have to, I think, be at least like 320 to get that. Which, if you play Destiny, you know what light level and all that means. So might be one worth getting back into. I know me and a couple friends are trying to go for the Flawless Raiders, so that might be something you could join with us in a couple days. Who knows? Then we got Destiny 2. Looks like you got the platinum on that, just not the DLC, so it's fantastic. I know this one, as far as I know, is a little bit easier to do compared to the first one. I don't know. I haven't played much of Destiny 2 to compare. I got Destroy All Humans. There's really not much to say about that one. It's the remake of. It's not the original PS2 one. It's like a remake, like a reboot almost. I don't know too much about that series, honestly. I know it has like wacky kind of like scenarios and stuff. It's always been one that maybe I've always thought about trying, but I just never have. And we got the Dishonored games. Looks like they're all kind of halfway through. I don't know if that means you've beaten the game. And just okay, finish the game. Yeah, I know with these, there's a lot of different trophies that require you to beat the game without doing things. So like without killing, um, without getting spotted, stuff like that. Um, so depending on how you play, you might miss out on a lot of trophies. So I know that one require. I think all the Dishonored games, as far as I know, require a couple playthroughs. Um, we got Fall Guys now. This one's a great one to have. Um, I know there was an exploit around May 13th where you could do a private match and get the infallible trophy, which is what a lot of people do. No judgment there. If I didn't have it, I certainly would have done that as well. So good job on the completion. Um, yeah, that's a good one to have. It's pretty rare, even with that exploit that happened. So good job on Fall Guys. Next we have Far Cry 5. Yeah, I remember this was another one. We played a lot of co-op together, so I remember playing a lot of this. Looks like you've done, well, obviously you've done all the base game. You got the platinum. Just none of the DLC trophies. Which honestly, I've played all the DLCs except for the zombies one. I didn't think they were that great. So you're not really missing out on that. So really only go back for that if you wanted to boost your completion. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS4 and PS5. Um, that was you got the platinum pretty quickly and almost right when the game came out. I think April. Yeah, so basically you got the game 6 days after it came out. So I take that as a sign you enjoyed the game. I thought it was the best game of 2020. Honestly, I didn't think the competition was anywhere near this game. So nothing really much to say about that. And then we got Final Fantasy 15. Um, Looks like you've actually done a lot if this is all base game trophies. Oh, I guess maybe you've done a couple DLCs. Yeah, a couple of the later DLCs. Um, I know this one's supposedly not too hard of a platinum, so this would be really easy to go back if you could stomach the return to Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, not too many. You basically just gotta level up all your skills for each character and a couple miscellaneous quests and stuff. So that should be easy if you ever wanted to. We got Game of Thrones. That was I don't know if it's actually the worst one, but I think it's the worst Telltale's game I've played. I didn't enjoy it at all. Um, I think that was around the time that it was offered free on PS Plus, so I don't blame you for playing that one. I got Ghost of Tsushima. We got the you got the platinum. Looks like you might be missing all of the legend. Oh no, you played a little bit of Legends modes, which honestly I didn't really care for Ghost of Tsushima that much. But I thought the Legends mode was a lot of fun. I didn't ever complete it, but it was fun. So good job on the completion of the game. It's a good platinum to have. And we have God of War, the PS4 reboot. There's really nothing too much to say about. I thought it was a really fantastic PS4 exclusive. It was pretty straightforward. I think the hardest part was defeating the Queen Valkyrie. Even if you did set it to the lowest setting, it was still a pretty good challenge. So So I'm always surprised when I see that platinum rate's at 29% or higher, depending on where it is at the time. We got Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. I think this is based off like a manga. Um, yeah, fighting game. Not my forte, and probably not yours as well. Seeing as you only got a couple of the trophies. Um, February 2021. So it could be you just got distracted by some other games because that wasn't too long ago. So it might be something to go back to if you needed to boost your completion. Guilty Gear, another fighting game. I don't know too much about that. Honestly, I don't play a lot of fighting games. Got Hatoful Boyfriend. I know that's that uh, satire kind of based visual novel dating simulator with where all the choices you have to date are birds. A lot of satire and funny dialogue. So I've heard. I have not played it, um, but I've heard that people that do play it really kind of enjoy it. So that might be one to I might play one day. Who knows? Got Hitman. Halfway through, I know with the Hitman, there's a lot of different locations to go, and there's just a lot of things you have to do, especially get to mastery level 20 on each of them. So that might be, I would say that would be a really fun one to get back into. To go back if you ever need to boost your completion. We got Horizon Zero Dawn, another Sony exclusive. That I thought that was the best open world game I've ever played. I typically don't really enjoy open world games as much, but I thought the way they did it in Horizon Zero Dawn was fantastic. Um, and the story kept you kind of in suspense of like what was going to happen, what were they going to reveal next, and like just the culmination of everything at the end was fantastic. Um, Looks like you haven't done the new game plus or the Frozen Wild, so if you have the expanded edition, you could probably knock those out pretty quickly. We got Infamous Second Son. The I can't remember if it was a launch title for the PS4, but I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed with it, especially because there was a new protagonist. I thought it was fine. I wasn't like in love with it. Like I didn't like jump up and down when I was playing it, but I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a good addition to the Infamous series. Got Journey. Looks like the journey for the 100% is just beginning. So I want to say this is probably around the time that it was offered free on the PlayStation stay-at-home program. I know this one is a pretty quick one to knock out. It shouldn't take you long at all. I really enjoyed Journey. I actually played it for the first time around the same time. Um, so I would definitely go back and give it another go if something else caught your attention at the time, made you get distracted or something. We got Killing Floor 2. Oh shoot, I skipped one. Judgment. Okay, so Judgment is a game made by the people that make the Yakuza series, so it's pretty much, as far as I can tell, almost the same as Yakuza, except for you're playing a, a journalist or something, where you're trying to solve a mystery. Yeah, a detective. So you're trying to solve this mystery. I'm assuming there's a lot of corruption going on, but it plays basically the same as Yakuza game, and you do have to do the 100% on all the activities, so that's why the completion is so low. So really good job on Judgment. I know that one's a little bit tougher because of all the stuff you got to do. Got Killing Floor 2. Now this This might be my favorite PlayStation Plus game that they've ever given out. Um, it's a first person zombie killing game. In the game they call them Zeds. Zed slaying machine. Yeah. They call them Zeds. Um, Nothing too tricky in the game. You do have to beat it on the highest difficulty, but with some friends or maybe joining some random public games because you can get up to 6 players on a team. And some classes are a little bit better than others for that. So it's not too difficult to get the platinum, and then the 100% is just basically going and doing all the collectibles on every map. While some require you to do specific things, like this update, you have to beat the matriarch, and then there was one right here, yeah, where you had to survive up to wave 15 on hard. Um, so really, that's really easy. I know every couple months they update it, so they just added this one, as far as I know. Well, actually, not as far as I know. I do know that they just added this one because it was just a couple days ago. Um, so that, honestly, if you went back for all these trophies, it wouldn't take too long. Just a couple hours to get all the collectibles, and maybe beat the matriarch and all that. So that one I definitely recommend going back to. Super easy and fun. I enjoy those games. And we got all the Kingdom Hearts games. We got the first one, we got the second one, we got the third one, and we got I believe this is the one with Aqua, the little expansion, or I can't remember what it is. The whole timeline on Kingdom Hearts is kind of just every which way they want it to go. I believe it was like right before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, this one came out, and it's kind of like a prequel to it, I think. Dream Drop Distance, I have no idea where that goes, and I know that's a spinoff, but these are all really great achievements to get. I know some of them take a while to get, especially I think they fixed it in the PS4 versions where if you just play it on the hardest difficulty, all the difficulty trophies stack, as opposed to the PS3 ones where you had to beat it 3 separate times for the 3 separate difficulty trophies, which was kind of a pain. But good job on these. Looks like you're just missing a little bit of DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm looking based on the completion rate. Looks like they might be a little bit tougher, but I know you could do it if you wanted to. Then we got Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm. I really enjoyed Life is Strange. I thought it was a really interesting game. It's almost like a Telltale's game. It's got a little bit more gameplay, a little bit more charm, I think. A lot of people think that the dialogue and everything is cringy, but I thought it was fine. I think they intentionally tried to make it a little bit cringy because of how just kind of teenagers interact with each other. So I thought it was fine. Life before the Storm, I didn't quite enjoy as much. I thought it was not as good as the first one. I would have been okay with it not existing and just being just the first one. Like you, I haven't played the second one. I heard it's not as good, but it might be something to look into if you're trying to look for a game to play. I know it regularly goes on sale. We got Spider-Man and we got Spider-Man Miles Morales. Both easier kind of AAA exclusives for Sony. Fun games, not really much to talk about. Basically just collect everything and you'll get the platinum. It's not too bad. We got Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. This is an incredible achievement to get the platinum. I can't believe this is not an ultra rare because of how long it takes to get those crowns. Now, anyone that hasn't played Monster Hunter doesn't know what I'm talking about, but if you played, you know. Each monster, you have to get a small gold crown and a large gold crown, which basically is the size of the monster. You'd think that would be easy enough, but it's completely random on what size they are. There are some things you can do to kind of um, modify those chances of getting a smaller or larger one, but ultimately it comes down to a lot of luck, and they have a very small percentage of getting those gold crowns. Um, so I know we played a lot of Monster Hunter World when it came out, so good job on that. Maybe you got burnt out on those crowns to try for them again in Iceborne, which I completely understand. I don't blame you at all. Mortal Shell. Um, I think this was kind of like a Souls-like game. I honestly don't know too much about this, but I heard that it's like a Souls-like game. I don't know if people really enjoy this game or if people don't like it. I'd have to check it out myself to see kind of what's going on. I think you probably didn't enjoy it. You probably didn't like it if you didn't get that many trophies, because I know you're really good at the Souls game, so might be something you just didn't like. We got Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. Um, I thought that was one of the best games that came out that year. It was like 2018, I believe. I actually think it was my favorite game of the year. It's had great characters. The story, I wouldn't say was like fantastic. I thought it was, I thought it was pretty decent for a JRPG, because typically JRPGs don't have that fantastic of stories. But the gameplay was fun. The platinum wasn't too challenging. It did take a while, but great job on that. I like that one. Then we got Near Replicant and Near Automata. Um, Both fantastic games. I have not played Replicant yet, at least not the PS4 version. Played it back in the day on the 360, but I love both of these games. They're near and dear to my heart. So fantastic. And next we have Neo and Neo 2. Another both kind of what's it called? Souls-like game. I know Neo has more of Diablo style loot system, and where you can kind of make yourself more powerful. You can make some OP stuff, as far as I know. Um, but looks like you've done every single bit of the base game. Just need to do the DLCs, which I don't know if you have them. Probably not, but if you liked it, that might be something to consider if you can ever pick them up for cheap. Um, Looks like you just avoided the DLC on Neo 2 as well. Then we got No Man's Sky. Uh, I'm taking it that that was a game that you did not enjoy. It was played in 2020. You just got one trophy, and surprisingly, just from the DLC. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I know they regularly update it, so it might be something to check out. Um, but probably not if you didn't enjoy it that much, because it was still pretty recently that you played it. You got Onrush. Now I've actually gotten the platinum on this one, so I actually have a good bit of experience with this, which is crazy because I normally don't play a lot of racing games. So it looks like you got pretty decently far in the game. Um, Probably just some more miscellaneous things. Yeah, you basically just have to beat the single player campaign, um, and then just do a few miscellaneous things. It's honestly not a hard game, despite the rarity on it. Um, and I know there's one specific event that is easier with two players, because you have to you have to take out so many cars while also winning. So it's easier to do it with a second player because both of your takeouts count together. So that might be something to just try, if if you can find someone to play it with you. And we got a bunch of the Persona games. Got Persona 4 Dancing All Night, and Persona 5 and 5 Royal, all completed. Now, Dancing All Night obviously is way different from the regular Persona series, but I actually really enjoy the Persona dancing games. They something about them is just super fun. The music in Persona is always great, and just seeing your favorite characters just dance around to some of your favorite songs is just fun. So I enjoyed it. Persona 5 and 5 Royal. I know Royal's a lot easier. You can see in the difference in percentage because they took out some of the trickier trophies. But great job on all those Persona games. Then we got Prey, another kind of first-person survival horror game. Um, Looks like you got decently far into the game. Um, you might even completed the game. I don't know what the trophies kind of entail. Um, yeah, it looks like you might have even completed the game. Um, but yeah, I know in this game there's lots of things that mimic everyday items. They're like aliens or something. I don't know. I didn't really play too far into it, but it's definitely was a fun game. Might be one to consider. I know well, I guess it's not an easier game if you just base off percentages, but might be worth checking into. We got Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, another PS5 exclusive. Um, I know this one's the trophy list is a little bit toned down from like the earlier Ratchet and Clank games. The gameplay, though, as far as I know, is better than ever. From what I hear, the graphics really fantastic. Um, Loading time is non-existent. You just go into the game and there's no loading at any point in the game. So B1, I might wait for a decrease in price before picking it up just because of how short it is, but definitely a great platinum to have. Speaking of great platinums, we got Red Dead Redemption 2. Now I know this one you got really quickly because you can see December 2018. I think the game came out in October, so basically you went straight to the platinum in a month. So that's a dedication because I know it takes a long time to do all those online trophies. So fantastic job on that. We got a couple of Resident Evil games. Looks like you did all the ones for Resident Evil 2, which is the remake of the first one. And we got kind of like a port of I think it's like a remake on the PS3 and then they ported it over to the PS4. So it's a little bit clunkier and it asks you to do a little bit more, and I know like the gameplay hasn't been updated, so that's a little bit trickier one. So that one I know you have the skills to do if you ever wanted to go back to it, but might not be worth it because of just how clunky and obnoxious it would kind of be to go for some of those trophies. We got Romancing Saga the Third. I think that's kind of just like a role-playing game, JRPG. Yeah. I don't know too much about the series, so I don't know. Looks like you didn't really get too far into the game, which is understandable. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. So anyway, we got Soma. That's a kind of a horror game. Not too long of a game, but great completion nonetheless. We got South Park: The Fractured Butthole. Another turn-based game. This one is completely the opposite of a JRPG, though. It's got the kind of typical South Park humor you'd expect. Not my kind of game, but I know a lot of people do enjoy the South Park series, so that might be a fun one for you if you enjoy South Park. And we got Steins Gate. I really enjoyed the Steins Gate series. I think they're fantastic visual novels. It's got a lot of twists and turns in it. I know in the first game I didn't quite care for the main protagonist until about a few hours into it. So it's definitely one of those games that's like a slow burner. So if you can get into it, if you can bear with the protagonist for a couple hours, it's definitely well worth it because it's one of the craziest kind of great visual novels you can play. We got Tales from the Borderlands. This one's one of the better Telltale's games. As far as all of them go, based on the Borderlands games. I thought it was a lot of fun. They had a lot of funny moments, a lot of memorable characters that I think ended up that did get added to Borderlands 3. Now, I haven't played that game, so I don't know for sure, but as far as I know, a couple of them did get added. So a couple of them like became officially canon in the Borderlands kind of games. We got Tales of Berseria. It's one of the Tales games, JRPGs. These a lot of the Tales games have really grindy trophies, asking you to like get to max level, which you have to beat the game to be able to get a special item. Well, you spend your grade that you earn throughout the game at the grade shop, and one of them is to like multiply your experience by like 5 or 10. I can't remember what they're kind of different every game. So a lot of grinding, a lot of like beating the game again to be able to get some of the trophies, but it's a great percentage for the game. So I kind of have fallen off of the Tales kind of bandwagon. I think they've gotten a little bit worse in the later years. I did really enjoy the Exilia series and Vesperia, but where it started to take a turn was I think right around Zestiria, maybe the one before it. I don't know, but that's about when it started to kind of lose its charm. We got the house in Fata Morgana. I have no idea what this is. Definitely looks like an easier one. Visual novel. So maybe it wasn't a good one if you didn't finish it. Didn't have kind of the patience to get through it if it wasn't a good story, which sometimes those visual novels don't always have a great story. We got the Labyrinth of Grisha. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with this adventure. I have zero clue what this game is, so I can't really offer any input. Looks like probably a visual novel based on the percentage, I'm guessing. Then we got The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. Classic Naughty Dog games. While this one's a little bit newer, but this one came out a really long time ago. This one, the first one, requires a lot more as far as getting the platinum and 100%. You have to do a lot of multiplayer stuff, whereas the second one doesn't have that. Looks like you're just missing a little bit for the 100%. There's just 2 DLC trophies they added, so I know even though it's on permadeath and grounded, I think you can use a lot of the accessibility options if you wanted to make it a little bit easier, or you can do it just as easily without them. And we got The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4. Looks like you're really close on both of them. I'm kind of curious as to what's kind of blocking you. Complete the game on Nightmare difficulty. And initiated 300 advantage encounters. Huh, that's kind of crazy because that's a really high percentage, so I would think that one would be pretty easy to get. Looks like it's just maybe a couple more battles you got to do. And then I'm not sure if you were going for Nightmare difficulty. I'm sure there's some guides that kind of can go through that, but I would say definitely go for that. It's go for the platinum. It looks like it's attainable if you put in the work. 24%. It's usually a sign that it's pretty doable if you go for it. And then the fourth one, again, nightmare difficulty and maybe a couple more trophies. That looks like it's just saving before the final battle, and just maybe hanging out with some characters some more. I'd say that these both are look pretty doable, honestly. If you just the main thing probably holding you back is the nightmare difficulty, which I don't know how difficult that game how difficult it is on nightmare, but I'm sure you could pull it off. Then we got the Surge, another Souls-like game. I have not played the first one, but I have played the second one. I've really enjoyed the Surge 2. I thought it was a fantastic game. I don't know how the first one is because as far as I know, they fixed a lot of things that people didn't like about the first one in the second one. So it could be some of these kind of prevented you from enjoying it to be able to get the platinum. Um, But I would definitely say if you enjoyed this at all, go for the Surge 2. It was a lot. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Then we got Titanfall 2. First one was available only on the Xbox consoles. These are Titanfall 2 is a fun game. It's a fantastic game. Multiplayer is great. There's a couple of multiplayer trophies. They're really easy to get, so I would definitely suggest anyone that has Titanfall go for that. Just get them out of the way, so I don't have to worry about any kind of future shutdowns. And then the only trophy that's gonna block you in this game from getting the platinum is becomes the master. You can see by the trophy rarity, I think it's the lowest one besides the platinum. You have to have a really good gauntlet run. It's made by Respawn. I think that's made the people that made Call of Duty games. They typically like to add a lot of gauntlet trophies in their games, so this one's no kind of exception. So I don't think if you practice, you can probably get it within maybe an hour or two, depending on your skill with first-person shooters. But this one's a fantastic game. Very, very nice completion on that one. So good job. Then we got all of the Uncharted games. Looks like, well, not all of them. You don't have the Lost Legacy or the Vita one, but I'm not going to really count the Vita one because that's not very good. But definitely pick up the Lost Legacy if you don't already have it. I think it went free on one of them. I could be wrong, but I thought it was free at one point. But it looks like you just haven't done any of the DLC, which I know a lot of the DLC on these PS4 ones are like you got to beat the game on brutal, which from what I've been told, brutal lives up to the name. It's really brutal. So, but still, all 4 platinums on the main games, good job. And then we got Undertale, kind of an easier game to get the platinum. The game doesn't even kind of require you to beat the game to get the platinum. You just kind of have to do a couple miscellaneous things and then reach a couple save points, and then you get the platinum. It's a little bit disappointing, but it's a fun game to check out if you ever see it on a good sale. We got Until Dawn. It's one of those kind of story-based games. Not a lot of gameplay, more like choices you make and stuff. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun game, fun little horror game. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say tricky to get the platinum, but you do have to do a little finessing to make sure your save files. Because of the way the game works, you have to make sure that you're continuing your story where you'll be able to get the platinum or get trophies easier, because you do have to do different kind of playthroughs. So you don't want to ruin your save at too early of a point, if that makes any sense. People that played Until Dawn know what I'm talking about. Then we got Valkyria Revolution, a little JRPG game, more kind of war based, like almost like steampunk kind of situation. I know this is kind of like a spin off of the Valkyria Chronicles. Some people didn't like it, some people did. This is more of a hack and slash versus like the more tactical of the original, but still great completion on that. Then we got all the Yakuza games. Looks like you've gotten Yakuza 6, and then you're almost on 7, or maybe they don't call it 7, but Like a Dragon, you're almost there. Curious as what you're missing. Looks like you're just missing 2 trophies besides the platinum. Complete the last dungeon in Premium Adventure and beat the true final Millennium Tower. I'm sure those are a little bit trickier because those are the last couple that you need. But I know this one is like a turn-based fighting style compared to the original kind of beat 'em up style. But still, great job on Yakuza 6. I know 0 and Kiwami 2 take a lot more effort, because I think on 6 you don't have to complete everything to get the platinum, but on those 3 you do. You have to get 100% in every activity, which is more time consuming than well, some of them are difficult. I'm not gonna lie, some of them are pretty difficult. We got Ease 8. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Lacrimosa of Dana. This is another kind of JRPG, little lengthier one, I think. Not much to say about that. Just a good job. Looks like didn't take too long to get the platinum for a JRPG. I don't think that's too long. Then we got Zero Escape, the Nonary Games. This is kind of like another visual novel. This one's actually 2 separate ones. It's like, what was it, 777 and 999 and Virtue's Last Reward, VLR. As 2 different ones put into one game. They're kind of, I believe this 999 was like a 3DS game. They're basically like puzzle escape the room type puzzles in the game, as well as like visual novel style gameplay. So it's a fun little game to check out if you ever find it on sale. The rest we have kind of just Japanese games. I don't know what this is at all. Looks like that Grisya, so it's another like visual novel, some kind of, not sure at all. Okay, but I can tell that these are the Persona dancing games. Looks like you got 3 and 5 done, and you have another stack of the Persona 4 that came with the collection. Looks like you kind of stopped halfway. I know these aren't too difficult, so you could easily go back and get the platinum for that. This, I have no idea what this is. I have no idea, but it's surprisingly not too. If this was a visual novel, this would be a pretty low rate, so I'm not sure what type of game that is. And then looks like we got 2 Project Diva, which is like, I think that Haku series, or no, Hatsune Miku. These are like rhythm-based games. I don't know how difficult they are. I heard they're maybe a little bit tricky for rhythm games, but I think if you tried, you could get the platinums on them. Future Tone might be a little bit more difficult. It's got a lower rate. Oh, that's probably just because of the DLC. And then looks like another Corpse Party Blood Drive. And I know in the Korean version, it looks like this is what you did. You can use the debug menu to pop the platinum. pretty quickly, only a minute and 5 seconds. But so that's basically it. Let's look at kind of like the stats. Got 15 ultra rares, and that's not too bad, especially for the amount of platinums. Uh, I don't always think that ultra rares are the total indication of like how good of a gamer you are, because a lot of ultra rares are easier games. There's people don't like them, but there are a lot of ultra rares that are insanely skilled, like Super Meat Boy or Crypto the Necrodancer. Um, let's see, as far as stats go, 50% average rarity. I think that's about the average. It's a pretty good, I would say 50% or under. So, like, right in this range is a good percentage to be at. Obviously, the lower the better, because of uh, a good indication of people playing a lot of easy games, maybe, or like Ratalaika stacks and all that, would be a higher percentage. But again, a lot of these games that did maybe have a higher percentage were visual novels, so that might be why, because you have a lot of great games. Uh, and then trophies by day. This is actually a pretty interesting statistic. Looks like you did get most of them. Like, it's not too far off as far as the discrepancy goes. Typically, you see a little bit more, maybe like a couple days where there's not a lot of trophies, or maybe a couple days where there's a lot more trophies. But looks like there's not a whole lot of standard deviation on that. That's pretty wild. Um, and then times you've gotten trophies. Uh, I know you're on a slightly different time zone, so you have to add a couple hours. So add 3 hours, so like 8 o'clock, then no, 1 o'clock a.m. So looks like you get a lot of trophies at kind of different times of the day, except for kind of the early morning, late morning, or late night, early morning. Um, So that looks like it's about it. Hope everyone enjoyed this trophy review. I hope to put more out soon. Thanks.